Who will win elections 2024? Kaun banega Pradhan Mantri? Is Prime Minister Modi cruising towards a third term? I'm Barkha Dutt, you're with the Mojo Story. We'll be looking at the big political question that's on everybody's mind. It's now just a few months to go for the big Lok Sabha elections. We've just concluded a round of assembly elections. The Ram Mandir inauguration is due for January. The India Alliance meetings have also begun in full sway. And the question that's being asked and is top of the mind is Prime Minister Modi cruising and sailing towards a third term? Or can the opposition still pull a proverbial rabbit out of its hat? This and much more is on the table for discussion on this special broadcast with a very special newsmaker who has just concluded another round of surveys, the ABP-CVOTER survey to be precise. Let's welcome to the program Yashwant Deshmukh, our favorite psephologist and political pundit, who has, as I said, just put out some very, very interesting numbers in the ABP-CVOTER survey that's looking ahead at the Lok Sabha elections of 2024. Now, Yashwant, I don't want to start by giving away the big picture. That would be like giving away the last chapter of a mystery novel. So let me first ask you a big political overview. Don't tell us the numbers just yet. A political overview, something that could still become an X factor in the next few months. And then we'll get into the four regions of the north, south, east, west, as your survey has projected them. Go ahead, Yashwant.
Barkha, there would have been a significant number of X factors provided the Congress would have performed really well in the current round of assembly elections. As you know, that even in our numbers earlier, even though we got what Rajasthan, Telangana, even Chhattisgarh were in that line. However, in case of Madhya Pradesh, when we were started, because the overwhelming emotion on the ground was for a change of sorts, even though it wasn't anti-incumbency. But what was on display, Barkha, was a sheer display of organizational strength and campaign by the leading faces right on the top. So why I am mentioning that is because even though when we get numbers and there is a glass half full and glass half empty kind of thing, and we are more programmed to look at the numbers from the anti-incumbency perspective largely. What surprised us to the extent of not only that the BJP managed to overcome that sense of fatigue, not anti-incumbency, but fatigue, and the lack of Congress strength on the ground, that is what was startling for me, honestly. Why I am mentioning all this right now is simply because when you ask that what could be the X factor, those X factors were more quantifiable, those X factors were could have been more visible if the Congress would have pulled off at least one or two such states. Telangana I am not counting because that was writing on the wall, and we have been saying also for the last 1.5 years what was going to happen in Telangana. So I don't know. The answer to that question is that yes, I understand a week is a long time in politics, Barkha, but when we talk about that proverbial rabbit from the hat or a black swan event like 2004, let's keep in mind that a black swan event is considered a black swan because it's rare. It's something out of the box. It's not supposed to happen all over again and again and again. But more so, that black swan was possible in a different context in 2004 when Mr. Vajpayee was a prime minister with 182 seats. Mr. Modi became a prime minister with 282 seats. So there is a huge gap even from the rabbit scenario. Honest answer is, unless something really, really drastically black swan kind of thing happens, I don't see it going in any other direction.
Right. So let's get straight to the regions. And I want to start with the north. There's been a lot of debate, whether there's a regional divide in our politics. So let's call this, as you have sometimes referred to them, as the Hindi-speaking states in particular. And, the domination of the BJP in these states is almost complete. Look at the numbers that the ABP-CVOTER survey, your survey, is projecting. Between 150 to 160 for the NDA and 20 to 30 for the India Alliance. alliance. Now, this is startling, and I want to bring up the vote percentage as well. If we look at it, if we bring up the voting percentage, but Yashwant, go ahead and tell us. This absolute there's 50% mark for the NDA in the Hindi-speaking states. How do we explain this? This is really, as it were, the gud of the BJP's politics. Yashwant.
Exactly. And also, Barkha, when you look into the vote share, you look into the gap, and that gap explains you what kind of seats might turn around in that particular region. And let's not forget, this not also includes couple of states where BJP has been literally absent. It's not just South. For example, Punjab. BJP on its own and just without Akali Dal, it's a no-show, no-go territory. Kashmir Valley, for example, Jammu BJP is present, but Valley, 3 seats, BJP has been completely absent of sorts. So if you look into the vote share, you will realize this is a very conservative vote share estimate, honestly speaking. Because when we ask particularly,
I mean, you're looking. You mean you're looking at a higher percentage than 50? Can we just switch to the vote share slide for a moment? You're basically saying that 50% for the NDA is a conservative estimate.
In the north, yes. In the north, yes. It depends on different kind of turnouts in different states. For example, the states which went to the poll and BJP just won the election, polling about 45% approximately on an average, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, and Chhattisgarh. But the Lok Sabha voting intent was almost like 55% in these states in the same election when we did the surveys and the post-poll surveys during this exercise. However, my assessment says that I will not be surprised that BJP ends up crossing 60% in these states when the final polling happens. Because what happens is that if this is the number that they can pull off only on their organizational strength, then you need to add the face of Mr. Modi and the lack of any face that opposition parties have as such. And also keeping in mind that these are precisely the states which are BJP versus Congress, direct contest states, And this is, I will not be surprised, Barkha, that a big number of states, I can actually, count on my fingertips in that way. Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Himachal, Gujarat, and Uttarakhand. These are the states where BJP's vote share is very well in the range of right now 55% plus, and it can very well cross the margin of 60% plus at the final voting. But But the problem with that kind of voting also is, Barkha, that kind of a huge gap is likely to take the BJP's vote share, national vote share, be above 40% individual vote share. But the number of seats gonna remain the same. I mean, if there are 180 seats in the north, that's what the cap is. It's not going to increase the number of seats for them.
I get that. I get that, but it still makes a big political statement, even if the conversion to seats can only be so far and no more. Now, let's pick up one of these states, Uttar Pradesh, right? And I pick up Uttar Pradesh for 2 reasons. One, it is, they say you can't win Delhi if you don't win UP. 2, UP is an interesting case where there's the Modi factor, but there's also the Yogi factor. And 3, there is the Ram Mandir inauguration that is going to take place with Tam Jham and a lot of sort of pomp and show in January. And there's already, before I come to the UP numbers, there's already a growing controversy over who's going to attend, who's not going to attend. For the Congress in particular, this presents a dilemma. The dilemma being that there are pressure groups within the India Alliance who are saying mat jao. But if they don't go, then they face the familiar tag of being seen as an anti-Hindu party. This is an unnecessary controversy. The verdict came from the Supreme Court. In my opinion, every political party of India should attend.
Absolutely, I totally agree with you. And even if you don't kind of believe in temple thing, even if you are non-religious, whatever your personal belief may be, if you are in the business of politics, Barkha, not attending the ceremony is kind of a political hierarchy. I mean, in as simple layman's term. So, yes, I understand that they fear that they are playing into the BJP's code, that heads I win, tails you lose kind of scenario. But what they are not realizing that, by not attending, they are giving further ammunition.
Yeah.
This is a problem with their game plan in entire thing. You may very well, and I have said this in more occasion than one, Barkha, that they can win elections being pro-Muslim, but they cannot win any election anymore by being treated or being branded as anti-Hindu. And not attending these functions will certainly add to their anti-Hindu branding.
So you basically say that you understand the apprehension that the political advantage of any of the Ram Mandir movement will go to the BJP, but you're saying that there is a distinct disadvantage possible if parties like the Congress and others in the opposition in the India alliance choose not to attend.
Absolutely. I mean, that is something with a head start. I mean, and I honestly speaking, I will not be surprised if Akhilesh Yadav actually goes and joins that, attends that. I will not be surprised if other opposition leaders who are really not bothered about the particular school of secularism or particular way of the definition of the secularism might, like for example, CPM has said that they are not going to attend. It's like their political ideology or whichever way. I mean, उनके पास खोने को कुछ नहीं है यार. I mean, look, come to look at it, come to think about it, they don't have anything to lose further. But I doubt that Congress should be doing that. If they do not do, it would be problematic for them. That's a very clear assessment as at the moment. Somehow, still, people are not really reading correctly the undercurrent of this event, or the undercurrent, or the significance or the importance of what is going to happen in Ayodhya. They are still, completely out of sync with what kind of impact this event is going to have. And if you do not go, it's one of those kind of things which are going to remain plastered with your image for rest of your life. That's what my assessment is.
And when you say that you think that Akhilesh Yadav will, in a sense, break ranks if needed and attend the Ram Mandir inauguration, in a way, what you're saying is that the India alliance cohesion, ideological cohesion, will be tested on how different parties respond to the Ram Mandir movement.
Possible. Say, for example, Akhilesh might decide to go, or Akhilesh might even say, I will not go on that day because they are making it a political event, but I will go for a darshan later on. Something of that sort. But I don't think that he will be probably boycotting for the sake of Muslim vote. I mean, that's how I look at it. I mean, even though politics is unpredictable, I may be totally wrong, but I can also sense that given a chance, Barkha, big number of even regional Congress leaders would like to attend, given a chance. But if Congress makes it a party line, thou shall not go, otherwise thou shall be suspended from the party, something of that line, then it's a difficult proposition.
That's very interesting that even left to themselves, a number of Congress leaders would want to attend. Now it's very instructive what the UP numbers in the ABP-CVOTER survey are telling us. And I want you to talk a little bit about, in most of the other states, and we'll bring up those numbers, it looks like it's the Modi juggernaut all the way. But UP also has the Yogi factor. And of course, Madhya Pradesh had the Shivraj factor. It didn't necessarily make him the chief minister. Rajasthan, to a much lesser degree, had a Vasundhara factor. When we look at the UP numbers, can we just have the UP numbers on our screen for a moment? What do the UP numbers tell us? Look at the Congress. Look at the Congress and allies between 4 and 6. It basically tells you that there is no anti-incumbency with the BJP in the heart of the Hindi heartland, in the heart of India. There is no anti-incumbency at all. And there is no increase, no gain for the Congress. And it's even a party like the Samajwadi Party in UP.
No, none, zilch, nada. Yes, we talk about that impact of double engine sarkar or Yogi and Modi combination over there. Yes, it is a pro-Modi kind of sentiment. Good thing about Yogi is that he is only adding to it. He is not taking anything away from it. So that's the impact of that. As far as Congress is concerned, Bakha, uh, we did the seat specific assessments as well for ABP. And our assessment at this point of time for Amethi was that the same candidates, the margins would be even bigger for the BJP candidate in Amethi. Number
which is
one.
Smriti Irani. Yes,
Yeah,
I think
Rahul.
we have that slide, and
Yeah,
let's bring that up because there are two seats I want you to talk about: Amethi and Raebareli.
exactly.
Raebareli is currently held by Sonia Gandhi.
Yeah,
Amethi is, of course, currently held by Smriti Irani. Now,
exactly.
talk a little bit about both of these seats.
So if Amethi happens to the same kind of thing, Rahul Gandhi versus Smriti Irani, at this point of time, our trackers are showing the margins would be even bigger for Smriti Irani. Number one. Number two, Raebareli looks safer for the Congress, provided Mrs. Gandhi decides to contest that, or if at least she is replaced by no less than Priyanka Gandhi.
Hmm.
Any third person on that seat, for example, Rahul Gandhi, if he contests from Raebareli, might probably win because of Sonia ji
So
going
it
there
has
and
to be a Gandhi candidate in Raebareli for
yes,
the Congress to hold on to Raebareli, basically.
Raebareli. Now, two conditions. It has to
Yeah.
be a Gandhi candidate, number one. And number two, it has to be with proper support of Samajwadi Party. God forbid, if there is no alliance between SP and the Congress, and SP decides to give a candidate in Raebareli, it's over. So it has to be a proper India alliance Congress candidate with complete and full support of Samajwadi Party, and it has to be one of the three Gandhis to contest in Raebareli. So that is the one sure shot seat that I will count as the Congress seat in Uttar Pradesh. Apart from that, rest of the seats, are Samajwadi Party seats and one seat to RLD. That too, if Jayant decides to contest himself, being very very upfront about it. So barring that, so the Banpuri, Ajamgarh, family pockets with the family faces contesting upfront in those seats. These are the 6 seats or 4 to 6 seats that opposition can still manage to clinch on. Otherwise, beyond that, I don't see much happening. Mayawati, unless seamlessly gets into a Congress plus Jayant plus Mayawati plus SP kind of a coalition, then it might be a keener contest on the ground. Then it might be a contest of 45% to 50 versus 50% of the BJP. But without that, it's gonna be a contest of 15% gap.
So basically, what you're saying is that the India Alliance seat adjustment will be tested even in Gandhi family pocket boroughs like Raebareli. And when it comes to a seat like Amethi, Smriti Irani versus Rahul Gandhi will mean a Smriti Irani win. I don't think Rahul Gandhi is coming back to UP in a hurry, even though the left is actually asking him, why are you contesting from Kerala? And all of, because, isn't your main opponent the BJP? So all of these contradictions are going to be exposed. I want you to speak a little bit about Priyanka Gandhi. There's a suggestion that Sonia Gandhi may not contest this Lok Sabha election, that this could mark the debut of Priyanka Gandhi from her mother's seat. But in every other way, Priyanka Gandhi leading campaigns in Uttar Pradesh has come to naught. Now, if you see, she's no longer the general secretary in charge of the state at all. What does that tell us, Yashwant?
Well, it's a sorry state of affairs, Barkha, because arguably from numbers, when I'm reading the numbers about different leaders and their popularity rating and their approval rating, Priyanka was their best bet in Uttar Pradesh, but unfortunately for them, they just wasted that bet in a bluff, kind of thing, in a blind bluff, playing a game of poker or whatever they call it in that way. Last assembly election was certainly not the election where Priyanka was supposed to be invested in Uttar Pradesh. If it was complete bipolarization of the state, and Congress was just kind of crammed out from the competition. It was not even in the alliance with Samajwadi Party. Had they been in Samajwadi Party, still they would have made some sense that, okay, 20-25 सीट कुछ जीत के आ गए with 2 seats and 2.5% vote share. They are nowhere in the picture. So I think Congress wasted big time, wasted their name like Priyanka Gandhi, and I जिसके भी सलाह पे किया वो उनसे जाके पूछे. That's their headache
तो आपके मुताबिक प्रियंका का पॉलिटिकल करियर अभी तय नहीं हुआ. We don't know for sure what is her political worthiness. It is an untested or a wasted series of opportunities.
हिंदी में वो कहते हैं बंद मुट्ठी लाख की खुल गई तो खाक की. वो मुट्ठी खोल दी इन लोगों ने. यूपी इलेक्शन में
इनिग्मा मिस्ट्री सब खत्म हो गया.
And she was a very good bet. Let me tell you, I mean, she was drawing bigger crowds than Rahul Gandhi. Any given day, whenever we have run the numbers between the two siblings, Priyanka's numbers were way more than Rahul Gandhi. No two opinion about it.
Is that still the case after Bharat Jodo Yatra?
That is still the case. That is still the case, by the way. But again, it is done and dusted. At least in Uttar Pradesh, it's not there anymore. You know, you have kind of wasted that one big thing that you had to encash anytime in the future.
So imagine if it were a Smriti Irani versus Priyanka Gandhi battle. Not that I think it will happen.
That would be a really good one. I mean, it would be a mouth-watering contest, let me tell you. No doubt about that, because it will not carry probably the Rahul Gandhi's negativity over there. Rahul Gandhi shifts to Raebareli. It will be safer for him. And Priyanka goes on to challenge to Smriti Irani. But having said that, Smriti Irani has kind of worked on the ground that probably Amethi has not witnessed its elected member of parliament to work the way that she has. And it would be
You're bunching up a bit, Yashwant. Let me just recap what you've said so far. Yeah. Yashwant Deshmukh making the point that Smriti Irani is slated to win by an even bigger margin in Amethi this time. That if Rahul Gandhi were to make the mistake, a political mistake as it were, of returning to Amethi, he would lose. If Priyanka Gandhi were to enter that contest, it may be different. You were making the point, Yashwant, we lost you briefly, about Smriti Irani's work on the ground in Amethi. Go ahead. No, Yashwant, I still can't hear you. I still can't hear you. So I'm going to give you a moment to just reconnect with us. In the meantime, I'm just going to play out a statement of Rahul Gandhi. The India Alliance has had a big rally in the last few hours. Let's listen to what Rahul Gandhi had to say, and we'll come back to Yashwant. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a Congress rally in Nagpur and not an India Alliance rally. Let's take a look.
देश में विचारधारा की लड़ाई चल रही है. लोगों को लगता है कि राजनीतिक लड़ाई है, सत्ता की लड़ाई है. वो है, मगर इस लड़ाई की नींव जो है वो विचारधारा की है, और दो विचारधाराओं की लड़ाई हो रही है. बहुत सारी पार्टियां हैं. एनडीए में है, इंडिया अलायंस में है. मगर लड़ाई दो विचारधाराओं के बीच में है.
Okay, Rahul Gandhi there talking about how the fight is between two vichardharas, Yashwant. Is this a vichardharaon ki ladai? Because the point is that vichardhara jo India Alliance ki hai, wo ek koi cohesive vichardhara to hai nahi. That's one question, and then we'll return to Smriti Irani and Amethi.
Well, certainly not. वो कोई एक विचारधारा भी नहीं है, and they cannot even endorse each other even on the question of can Rahul Gandhi endorse what DMK leaders have been stating all along. Can he endorse that? I mean, if it is a Vichardhara ki ladai and if they belong to the same camp, let him come out and say that I fully endorse what Marans have been saying, in that way. Obviously, there are different shades of even secularism and different shades of opposition thinking, I mean, come to think of it, when you see Uddhav Thackeray on that stage, can they ask Uddhav Thackeray, for example, to go against the idea of 370? That okay? Can they ask him to criticize that this government has done a wrong thing? Can they ask Uddhav Thackeray that okay, you must criticize the inauguration of Ram Temple?
That's
So
right.
obviously there are different shades of even there, which is a healthy thing to happen. But to make that sweeping statement that okay, you are either with us or you are against us, kind of thing. If you are playing on that line, then obviously it is going to have an issue. It is going to have a problem with the larger electorate.
Absolutely. And I want to return briefly to UP and the point you were making about Rai Bareli and Amethi, once loyal Gandhi family pocket boroughs. You're saying Rai Bareli needs not just a Gandhi, but no third candidate from, let's say, a party like the SP. But let's come back to Amethi. Let's come back to Amethi. Smriti Irani said that no Gandhi will ever win from Amethi again. This was the Congress was targeting her daughter on allegations connected to a restaurant in Goa. Not to revisit that case, but Smriti Irani, you were making the point about her work on the ground, and she was able to take a victory on the basis of many voters in Amethi saying कि राहुल तो जी हाँ आते ही नहीं है.
I don't have the actual numbers. Probably I never did that kind of number crunching. But I will not be surprised, Barkha, that Smriti Irani's total number of days spent in Amethi in the last 5 years might outnumber the total number of days spent by all the Gandhis altogether in last 30 years.
It's worth looking at. It's worth looking up those numbers.
Yeah, so it's worth looking at those numbers, and I will not be surprised if Smriti Irani tops those numbers. So when you are on the ground, on that kind of impact making, it is difficult. It is difficult not to take that thing seriously. It's very difficult to take that thing lightly. And if she is oozing with the confidence that किसी को भी आने दो फर्क नहीं पड़ता, then it is coming from a confidence of being on the ground. You may love her, you may hate her on different aspects. Anybody can do that. But I think as a parliamentarian who has won from Amethi and been there and has been there, she is somebody who nobody can ignore from that perspective.
And I don't actually see Rahul Gandhi coming back to Amethi as a candidate anytime soon, but let's see what happens. Now, in the meantime, another state that is in the headlines is Bihar. And Bihar is in the headlines, and we'll bring up the Bihar numbers for all kinds of reasons. Nitish Kumar said to be in a sulk after Mamta Banerjee sets the cat among the pigeons by talking about Mallikarjun Kharge as a possible prime ministerial face. Rahul Gandhi has to get onto the phone and dial Nitish and say abhi kuch tay nahi hua and so on. There's also a churn reported within the JDU. Paltu Chacha, as he has been called in Bihar on the ground for the number of times he has changed sides. Ye bhi rumor shuru ho gaya ki kya pata is bari bhi. Now, if you look at the Bihar numbers, yet this is assuming that Nitish and the Congress and the RJD all stay together. There is an advantage. There is an advantage in that alliance. Let's take a look at the Bihar numbers.
Yeah. So one number which actually went on air yesterday, Barkha, that was very interesting because we ran a snap poll in Bihar for ABP. And we asked this hypothetical question, should he be coming back to the NDA? And if yes, what would be your reaction? The JDU supporters were kind of 50-50 in that way. But to my surprise, or rather not surprise in that way, I was kind of anticipating that kind of feeling. Huge number of BJP supporters were against the idea.
Were against the idea of taking Nitish back, even if he were ready.
Exactly. Huge number. So what it is, telling me is that the JDU numbers are heading for a virtual split.
Right.
Virtual split in a way that there is a section of JDU voters which is completely likely to go with the RJD, and there is another JDU voter which is likely to go with the BJP altogether. And BJP supporter on the ground is not at all happy with the even the remotest idea of Nitish Kumar making a comeback within the NDA fold. So,
Yeah.
if the BJP goes ahead and does that, that would be pretty much against the wish of their own cadre, rank and file. I don't know if the BJP leaders have those kind of numbers, or are they looking at those numbers very carefully or not, or they feel that arithmetic is more important. But the numbers on your screen where you see a Congress plus is basically RJD numbers. One prediction which I can make on your program as on today, Barkha, is regardless of which alliance JDU is, regardless of where Nitish Kumar is tomorrow, 2024 elections will come back with the historic low number of JDU member of parliament, no matter what the contest is.
Is this election going to be Nitish's swan song in a way?
Possible, because I have never seen the popularity or numbers or approval numbers crashing so drastically within a given period of time. The way I am looking at the numbers of Bihar Chief Minister, they are heading south in such an alarming way that defies gravity.
And how do we then understand this fight over who will be the president of the JDU? Has Lalan Singh actually resigned or not? पहले आती है खबर कि उन्होंने resign किया, फिर आती है खबर नहीं किया. वो meeting अभी जारी है. How do we understand how Nitish Kumar came undone in the way that he has, that today even a Mamta Banerjee can stand up and literally create what another journalist called calculated mischief by saying Mallikarjun Kharge ko aap declare kar dijiye. And that takes me to a very important point. Does the India Alliance need to declare a prime ministerial candidate? By calling it a Vichardhara ki ladai, it's the same old script.
Well, Mamta Banerjee is a very, very intelligent politician, Barkha. She has done, great job for her party by saying this on two different parameters. Number one parameter, she knows and understands that a Rahul versus Modi fight is not going to make her life easy. Taking Rahul Gandhi out of the equation and with a neutral candidate like Kharge, which doesn't carry the baggage of any negativity, she might still win majority of the seats in West Bengal on her own. She doesn't need, but she knows that for her campaign, Rahul Gandhi is a kind of liability. That's why, number one thing. Number two, as far as Nitish Kumar is concerned, she understands pretty well that his political stocks are out of favor at this point of time. Tejasvi Yadav is the one to bet for in Bihar. He is the future as far as the non-BJP opposition politics in Bihar is concerned. The lad is, brilliant. He enjoys significant popularity. Right now, in our numbers, he's the number one popular leader in Bihar for the post of chief ministership. BJP doesn't have that kind of a face or any other face to replace him in that way. So he has the brilliant future. But as far as Nitish Kumar is concerned, his stocks are absolutely down, depleted, and out in that way. So Mamta Banerjee knows that. And that is why, rather than taking any name, be it Nitish Kumar, be it Rahul Gandhi, which might be a liability for her in West Bengal to campaign, she actually asked for a name, a Dalit name, a Congress president name, which doesn't carry, which is a kind of a neutral Greer kind of a thing for her. And then she can put her own step, her own engine, and take it to the next level. So she played what her requirement was.
I still have the question about prime ministerial candidate, but let's come to it a little later because we've only looked at the north, and I want to shift gear now to look at the south. Now, there is a continued southern discomfort for the BJP when it comes to the south. And if you look at your projections, this is the part of the country where you expect the India Alliance to perform the strongest. And here, it's not a clear pattern for one or the other party. So you have states like Kerala and Tamil Nadu where the politics are regional. You have a Telangana where your own projections seem to suggest a continued advantage for the Congress, even in the Lok Sabha polls. Sometimes the assembly and the Lok Sabha can be quite different. So Karnataka, of course, is a different story where the BJP is once again forecast to sweep the state. So let's look at that's Karnataka on the screen. Let's look at the South in general first, and then we'll get to Karnataka and also to Telangana.
So the 130 odd seats in South, BJP is absent in the 100 seats, Barkha. There is no rocket science over there. And so is the Congress, honestly speaking, because Congress presence in South is very much like Kerala, Karnataka and Telangana, because they have won Telangana, but they are completely absent as far as Tamil Nadu. They are there by virtue of being an DMK partner. They are zero, just like the BJP as far as Andhra Pradesh is concerned. So they are a shade better than the BJP, no doubt about that, because Kerala is zero BJP contest, and Andhra is zero BJP, zero Congress contest. Now, if 100 odd seats the BJP is absent, then BJP's strike rate in 32 seats, that is primarily Karnataka and few seats in Telangana. That's where the entire BJP game is right now.
I look at the others in the southern states. The others, neither the India Alliance nor the NDA, they're quite strong. I mean, obviously, we're talking about a Jagan Reddy, a Chandrababu Naidu, but that's Andhra, a BRS. Who am I missing? These are the three that I can think of.
Yeah,
JDS. No, JDS
right.
is now
JDS
in the NDA.
BJP,
But the left,
BJP,
the CPM,
yeah.
no, the CPM is also in the.
So there are
all of these
more
are in the
others.
India Alliance.
There
All
are
of these are
two
in the India
others to
Alliance.
count in.
Yeah.
One is the AIADMK thing, which is not part of NDA at this point of time. They are away from NDA. Second thing is, because the left front is the prime contender against the Congress in Kerala, there in southern zone they are being kept counted as other, because otherwise it's just like almost 95% of Andhra votes are in others. 95%, more than 80% of Kerala vote will be in the India faction, even though they are contesting against each other. So obviously the others are TDP, Jagan Mohan Reddy, entire AIADMK group in together. Then obviously BRS is there, and even to a smaller point, but Asaduddin OST is there, and so on and so forth. So obviously, the others are bigger than not just the BJP, Barkha, they are bigger than the Congress as well, as far as South is concerned.
Very interesting. Yeah, that's very, very interesting. Now, let's come to Karnataka. Again, in the headlines for the wrong reasons, right? You have language chauvinism now turned into violence on the streets of a city like Bangalore or Bengaluru. You have Starbucks, House of Masaba targeted not for having Hindi banners. I can still understand anger in the South against Hindi, but for having English banners. This is an international sort of setting for some of India's biggest corporations, and this is happening, right? This is very unfortunate, but also explain the good showing, the handsome showing by the Congress in the Assembly, but the forecast for a handsome win by the BJP in the Lok Sabha, as your survey finds.
Well, there are all kind of troubles, not just Karnataka. Look at the reaction of Tejasvi Yadav against DMK on what the DMK leaders have been talking about, the Bihari migrant labor working in Tamil Nadu. Right. So all sorts of these issues, but something is weird about all these things, Barkha. Weird in a sense that, number one, there is a very distinct campaign that is being created on the North versus South divide.
Campaign by the opposition. It's not a campaign.
Largely by the opposition. And it hints at the possibility of having a strategy that if we go by this North versus South thing, at least in South India, we shall prevail. At least in South India, our numbers will overdo whatever the BJP numbers are. And right now, whenever I listen to all the Congress leaders, strategists, and everybody, when you talk about the possibilities, they do not talk about an outright Congress victory, not even in a campaign mode. They talk about हम कोशिश करेंगे तो बीजेपी को 225 पे 240 पे रोक देंगे. हम अगर साथ आ गए, सबने कर दिया, तो बीजेपी को मेजॉरिटी से हम नीचे रोक देंगे. सो बेसिकली they are giving it on a platter that BJP will in any case cross 200 and it will be on a 225 thing. If we shall stop them below the majority mark, that's our job is done. And in order to stop BJP below the majority mark, they somehow feel these 20-30 seats which BJP gets in the south, if they can stop that, then BJP's tally of 270, 280 can be brought down to 240, 250. I think this is a desperate attempt, which may or may not yield fruits. I mean, I'm not an right now the numbers are showing whatever they are coming on the screen, but it's a very dangerous trend. This kind of shows कि यार अब हम नॉर्थ में तो जीत नहीं रहे, साउथ पूरा कैप्चर कर लो, नॉर्थ छोड़ना है तो छोड़ दो. That's how. But when you say North पूरा छोड़ना है तो छोड़ दो, it also they forget that it carries the north and the eastern states like Bihar, the Bengal, and and the states where other non-Congress opposition leaders have huge presence. JMM, for example.
I think you were on a program with me. I don't know if you were there when another guest from Hyderabad, he made the point that the resistance to the BJP in several of the southern states is not Hindutva, it's Hindi. And if there were more BJP leaders who were actually polyglots, who were more well versed in regional languages, then perhaps the fortunes of the BJP could be different. So it's quite interesting, especially at a time when this language chauvinism is playing out in the worst possible way in Bangalore. Now, I agree with you that the North-South narrative is dangerous, but equally, looking at your numbers, it is true that it is the southern states right now that are providing literally, other than Maharashtra, which we'll come to, and Bengal, literally the only hope, as it were, to the India alliance.
That's true. That's what I'm saying, that they are aiming or hoping for a saturation performance in South. And they are trying to do whatever is helpful to go to that, reach that saturation performance. The way Modi is having a saturation performance in the North, they are trying to aim a saturation performance in the South. And once you have a saturation performance, the wild hope is BJP's tally goes down by 20-30 seats for the South, and and that's where you stop the BJP. Doesn't work that way, because the collateral damage of the saturation in South is not just the BJP. The collateral damage is Tejasvi Yadav. Collateral damage is Mamata Banerjee. You see, I mean, you look into those numbers. Collateral damage is even Maharashtra politics. We are forgetting that. Maharashtra is not South in that way. So, what they are risking is a much bigger proposition for the bringing the BJP tally to zero, for example, in the South. What they are risking is a much bigger number than what BJP is losing in the South. So that way, politically speaking, it doesn't make any sense. From the empirical number positioning, it doesn't make a sense, because if more 55 to 60% in rating in Karnataka, if Modi is scoring 40% plus ratings in Telangana, Modi is scoring more than Rahul Gandhi in Andhra Pradesh, where both these parties are absent, for that matter.
Yeah.
So there is a message which these numbers are telling you. Message is South has moved on from that kind of politics. That North-South divide politics is moved on, and it doesn't make any sense to have an anti-Hindi kind of campaign, when knowing fully that Mr. Modi himself is not a Hindi guy. Just because he wins from Banaras doesn't make him a Uttar Pradesh person. His mother tongue is Gujarati. It's not Hindi, for that matter.
Right.
So I mean, that doesn't make any sense to majority of the people as such.
So why do you think the BJP doesn't perform as well in the southern states? Because you clearly have made the point that Prime Minister Modi has individual popularity, even in states like Andhra Pradesh, where the BJP is not a political factor. The BJP had great hopes from Telangana, and it did improve its performance in the assembly. But obviously, in the Lok Sabha, between 1 to 3 seats is pretty much status quo, no great growth. The growth is going to be that of the Congress, at least in Telangana, at the cost of the BRS. Why do you think that Modi's national pan-India popularity does not translate into wins for the BJP in the southern states? They've tried. It has mattered to them. It's not inconsequential to the BJP.
No, they have tried. I mean, to be fair with them, they have tried. But I think it has largely to do with the 20 years politics post 1998 that BJP puts itself in a handicapped situation by putting all the eggs in the alliances basket. So they were completely relying on the alliance partners as far as southern politics was concerned. So it took really long curve for them to realize that, okay, we can win a majority in Lok Sabha even without getting any seats in the south. And that learning of that is something which is making them confident. Okay, forget about Tamil Nadu politics. Let's start from the scratch and see where it goes without the AIADMK, for example, or whichever way. Let's be ambiguous in Andhra Pradesh. In any case, we are not in the picture. We will do business with whomsoever wins from Andhra Pradesh. You know, in Kerala, for example, they have been touching 20% vote share, but lack of face, lack of a credible local face who can be their chief ministerial candidate and take their brand of politics forward. Those are quite literally localized issues which has stopped BJP from entering in the south. They had a great chance in Telangana, by the way, but they faltered. They gave it away on a platter. They gave it away. They just dumped it because of their national politics again. So South was kind of sacrificed by the BJP again and again and again due to their positioning in the national politics. And I don't know. If I remind the audience right now again of the very critical number of 20% votes which the BJP polled in the United Andhra Pradesh back in 1998 Lok Sabha elections, without any face, 20% votes in United Andhra Pradesh. Can you imagine the kind of traction the BJP had then?
And I want to pick up a number from your survey, and we'll study this more closely later, but we talk about the North-South divide. In 10 of the states you surveyed, you made this point, but I just want to underline it again. In 9 states, including Karnataka, where there's a Congress government, and Telangana, where there's also a Congress government, Modi is ahead of Rahul in terms of who should be Prime Minister. And the only exception is Punjab. Can you talk about this a little bit?
That's true. That's true. Only 3 states largely have been there in India in the last 10 years where Rahul Gandhi's popularity rating have been consistently more than Narendra Modi. Mm-hmm. One was Punjab, another Tamil Nadu, and third is Kerala. And if you look into the trend line, Barkha, the numbers are like that only. Rahul is ahead of Modi in in popularity rating, but the gap is reducing by the day. It used to be kind of 80-20 kind of a gap, and it's like kind of reducing. Right now, it's getting closer and closer. It's no more the same gap which was 10 years back.
So that in itself tells you that this North-South is a oversimplistic construct. And just like the BJP has the Congress has no organization, for example, in a state like UP, a diminished, depleted organization, the BJP possibly has an organizational issue in some of the southern states.
Yes, organizational issue. BJP has a decision-making issue. BJP has certainly issues of the face, barring
local,
Karnataka,
regional states,
regional faces, barring Karnataka. They had a grand opening in Telangana only because they had a good face behind Bandi Sanjay. But they dumped the face and the results went for a toss. So,
but Bandi Sanjay lost. But Bandi Sanjay lost his own seat.
He must have lost because BJP just took the pedestal away.
Yeah.
As the chief ministerial face, if he would have been given the free hand to do it, the way he was going ballistic against the ruling family in Telangana, At that point of time, last year, Barkha, at this point of time, BJP was hovering around 27-28% votes in Telangana. Within 1 year, they crashed to 13%. Can you imagine that kind of thing?
And the decision making with Yediyurappa, they had to bring back his son. So decision making, the absence of local faces, and organizational strength, not the popularity of the Prime Minister.
No, not the popularity of the Prime Minister. Not the popularity of the Prime Minister, and certainly not the case of North versus the South. Not at all.
And I'm really struck by this, that only
like
3 states were Rahul more popular than Modi for PM, and that includes Karnataka. And that does not include Karnataka and Telangana, where the Prime Minister is more popular than Rahul Gandhi for the post of Prime Minister. Okay, let's move west. Let's move west, where there's some very interesting numbers going down in Maharashtra. But let's take a look overall at the west as we bring that up, Yashwant. What is your macro picture? No, this is the east. Can we go west? Yeah, there it is. The NDA is ahead. It's certainly ahead because you have, Gujarat there in the mix, right? Which remains now a very, very strong BJP stronghold. But when we look at Maharashtra, something very interesting is happening. There is an Uddhav Thackeray who's a leader right now without a party. There is a Sharad Pawar whose party has been split. And yet your survey seems to find that there is still life in the alliance of Congress plus the Uddhav Thackeray Shiv Sena and the Sharad Pawar NCPA. Can you explain this finding?
The arithmetic is there right now. I mean, I don't know about the chemistry, Barkha. Chemistry, we will know. There are some very significant and glaring holes as such, in the strategy of chemistry. For that, say for example, I just cannot think how BJP is going to ask BJP voters to vote for Ajit Pawar candidates. I just don't see how. Barring that, they will say, "Kuch bhi karo, Modi ke naam pe de do, ghoot pi lo," kind of thing. That might or not work. I don't see how. Similarly, I don't see how Uddhav Thackeray is going to tell his cadres to vote for the Congress candidates. I don't know. These are the things which make me the number crunching tells me, because we ask individual parties, which party you are going to vote for. People say different parties. We add them as per the alliance, and that's how it comes on the screen. But we will exactly know. I will have to read Maharashtra not just in different regions, but within different regions. I will have to read them, study them in 4 different quarters. Because of कौन किसके अगेंस्ट लड़ रहा है, किसको टिकट मिला, which seat, which party is contesting against which party. So BJP versus Congress, that is a separate phenomena. BJP versus Shiv Sena is a separate phenomena. Now coming down to the other side, that is Ajit Pawar versus Congress or Ajit Pawar versus his uncle. That's a different phenomena. And where exactly these contradictory votes land up, can Uddhav Thackeray ensure that Shiv Sena votes land up to the Congress candidate? Can BJP ensure that the BJP core voters land up in favor of Ajit Pawar candidate? These are the things we will know only when we know the precise details of the seat sharing, and not just the seat sharing, which precise seat, which party is contesting. So different regions and the 4 combinations of the candidates, that will tell us where eventually Maharashtra will end. But at this point of time, in our open-ended question of asking, which party do you support? And then we add up that support as different alliances. This is how this number crunching is done, with the handicap of not knowing anything whatsoever about seat sharing and anything about which candidate, which party is going to contest which seat. It's a huge, huge handicap.
Yeah, I think that is going to be the biggest challenge. It's going to be even more challenging for the India Alliance to work out those details than it is for them to choose a face to be convener.
Exactly.
Let's move east, because I want to also look at the national politics, and we don't have that much time. Let's look at east, where again, when we look at the eastern states, Mamata Banerjee is still holding her own, but the NDA is ahead in vote percentage. Can we look at the seats? How the seats stack up in East India? Yeah, seats, please.
Yeah.
Okay, there it is. So Explain the overall situation in the East before we come to Bengal.
So East has India has Mamata Banerjee numbers. East has Tejaswi Yadav numbers. East also has in the others the BJD numbers. So what the
I see.
BJP is
So it has
carrying.
Naveen Patnaik in
Naveen
Orissa also.
Patnaik, yeah.
Yes.
So
Right.
East, the BJP numbers are largely coming from Chhattisgarh, from Jharkhand, from a little bit in Bihar, Assam, Northeast altogether, and some numbers from Odisha and Bengal as well. So the 80 to 90 seats, the spread of the BJP is across all these states, with significant chunk coming from Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, and significant chunks, even though being the number 2 party in Odisha, in Bengal, and in Bihar, and number 1 party in Assam. So that's how it is happening over there. But 50 to 60 number is courtesy only and only Mamata Banerjee and Tejaswi Yadav.
I want to move to Bengal. Bengal has been a big sort of project for the BJP. But Mamata Banerjee has held her own and is still holding her own, going by your projections. So as we bring up the Bengal numbers, talk to us about Bengal.
Well, I think Mamata is pretty decently placed as such, but she understands the danger of micro level anti-incumbency. When I say micro level, Barkha, if you look into the recent assembly election results, you will realize that people who have been winning really big number of seats in previous elections, they have been facing much bigger micro level anger because of non-performance of the sitting MLAs, non-performance of sitting MPs, and Mamata is facing a triple layer issue because she has captured the panchayat and local bodies, she has captured 200 plus MLAs, and she has the biggest number of MPs. So every layer of governance is right now buzzing with TMC governance, and that is a triple whammy that she has to counter only and only with her own personal popularity, just the way the BJP counters everything with the personal popularity of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So that's her headache. Still, she is managing way better than any other opposition leader who is in power might be managing. I think Mamata Banerjee and Stalin are the two main leaders who are carrying the day for the India Alliance at this point of time.
That's very interesting. Mamata in the East, Stalin in the South. They are leaders who are holding their own, not just at the state level and state politics, but also at the level of national politics. Now, one person we haven't spoken about before we go to the national picture is Arvind Kejriwal, right? And your numbers, I think we do have a slide for Punjab. I know I'm switching from the east suddenly to the north, but just to talk about Arvind Kejriwal, because there are reports that Mr. Kejriwal could be arrested. 3 of his colleagues have been arrested. But in Punjab, there is, mixed reports on the performance of the Bhagwant Mann government. But these are what your numbers look like. Explain these numbers.
Yeah, the Akali and the BJP are contesting separately at this point of time, and both of them are no-go because about 16-17% range for each, unless they come together, their numbers are not crossing the threshold of what shall I say, the winning vote percentages in Punjab. So essentially, it is AAP versus the Congress fight. That's what we are looking at. It is equally divided fight. Bhagwant Mann is not really doing that bad as the national media might be portraying him to be, simply because the Aam Aadmi Party's national affairs or the cases or everything that is going on, the brand equity of Aam Aadmi Party might be going down in the larger number. Arvind Kejriwal, as the prime ministerial candidate at one point of time, was touching almost double digits. Now it's back down to like 3-4% kind of thing. That might be affecting the narrative of Aam Aadmi Party at large. But as far as Bhagwant Mann is concerned, numbers are not that bad for him.
Because these numbers would be a huge improvement from 1 seat in the last Lok Sabha.
Absolutely. It will be a huge improvement, and that's riding the wave of what they scored in assembly. It was a one-way traffic, and and Congress is still a work in progress backing up. And Congress work in progress, by the way, these numbers are largely because BJP and the Akali Dal are separate. If the Akali and the BJP, their vote share are combined, and if they contest together in a very strong way, then I think the contest will become triangular, and that might bring actually the Congress numbers down rather than Aam Aadmi Party.
Very interesting. And again, Punjab is the only state where, so this is interesting, right? The BJP doesn't do well in Punjab, but the Prime Minister is almost as popular as Rahul Gandhi in Punjab. And this is one of the only 3 states you've surveyed where Rahul Gandhi is ahead. But that difference isn't major.
No, it's not major. And if you look into our tracker, the same question 2 years, 3 years, 5 years back, you will see Rahul Gandhi's lead over Modi was in 20%, 25% kind of lead. So it's not that the Modi numbers have gone up big time. He has been hovering about 25, 30 kind of thing.
Yeah.
The Rahul Gandhi numbers have stacked down largely because one big section of Punjabi voters, they pick up the name of Arvind Kejriwal, roughly about 20% of them, as their prime ministerial face. That is coming from what shall I say, from the kitty of Congress or Rahul Gandhi. That's where the numbers are going. But yes, the gap is not big, and 30 to 35% is the traction that Akali and the BJP vote share, combined vote share even today has. So if they or will not, they will not contest together. That's the prime question. But from the seats perspective, both these parties right now are a North starter.
Fascinating. Now let's look in the end of the national picture. If you look at all of these regions together, what does that mean for who will win 2024? Well, as of now, and of course, as with all the health warnings, this is an opinion poll. A week is a long time in politics. With all of those health warnings, this is what the numbers actually look like, broken into vote percentages. Let's also have the percentages, though in the first past the post system, the percentages do not matter as much as the seats. But we'll have that slide. There it is. It's a 42% forecast for the NDA. Cumulatively, 38% for the India Alliance, so not so far back, but the ability to convert, Yashwant, that into seats, the gap is huge. Now,
it's the all India level. It's the all India level.
Looking at your margins, it suggests, and we'll have the comparison graphic in just a moment to 2019, it suggests that the NDA could at worst lose about 40 odd seats, 40, 45 seats, and the India Alliance could at best gain the same number. So let's talk about
the NDA loss. Two things very quickly, Barkha. First of all, the perceived loss of NDA seats are basically the loss of NDA ally seats. That is the Shiv Sena and the JDU. Not beyond that. As far as the BJP is concerned, there is no loss of seats in that way. Number 2, same goes with the vote share thing. The perceived loss of votes is also the same. Three big alliance partners, that is the JDU in Bihar, Shiv Sena in Maharashtra, and Akali Dal in Punjab. And of course AIADMK in Tamil Nadu. That's the fourth one that is not counted in the NDA vote share. Having said that, the gap of 42 to 38 with the national level looks at 4%. Some viewers may say बहुत थोड़ा गैप है, बहुत ज्यादा नहीं है, इतना तो आपके मार्जिन ऑफ एरर में भी आ जाएगा 3 से 5% के अंदर. But the thing is that the gap is not the same.
I want to just switch to that slide because I was struck by that. Can we go to the slide which has the vote percentage compared to last time, the 2019 slides, please, if we can. Now, people will say to you कि भाई ये यशवंत ये देखिए तो 3% difference है और India Alliance is at the same vote percentage. This is very confusing. So please explain.
So very easy to understand. When you look into the vote share, Barkha, from the region's perspective, you will realize that BJP is having a kind of 15% lead in the North India. The opposition has a 15 to 20% lead in South India, so on and so forth. So the gaps at the regional level are huge, really, really huge. At the national level, cumulatively, when you sum them up, then it looks like a 42 to 38. But as far as the states are concerned, the regions are concerned, very few states are there where you can say that the fight is really on. And I can give you those states to watch out for right here, right now. Keep an eye on Bengal, Bihar, Maharashtra. these three states are alone, which kind of a cliffhanger kind of thing, which in the till the point of last time will be going this way or that way. And these three will decide a lot as far as the seat and the vote share composition of these alliances are concerned. Beyond that, rest of all the states, you will realize by the time elections are happening and more numbers come in, not just our survey, but other surveys as well, you will realize the gap is huge. This way or that way, regardless of that, the gaps are going to be significant.
Very interesting. Now, one question before before we come to the ultimate question. Your survey asked, do you think the leadership changes made by the BJP in Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, and Rajasthan will benefit the party? Now, this is a very interesting question because it seemed counterintuitive to us, the decisions that initially, that the decisions that the BJP took. 60% of respondents said yes.
That's about it. Because
what does that tell you? What does that tell us about the BJP's political instincts and the BJP's way of doing politics?
I think there are two ways of looking at it. Number one, that the Modi factor is overarching every other thing that is happening in political domain at this point of time. So people are saying that the vote was for Modi largely, and that's how it has to be looked into. And somehow the BJP has also smartly played that faction, not just on the anti-dynastic politics, but also about people from the grassroots being made into significant position. So hammering down, say for example, equation, we can make a non-Mulayam, non-Lalu Yadav a chief minister. Now, that's a very significant narrative to play on. Right. You know, so those kind of, it gels with the BJP's own narrative of going against the dynastic politics, going against the one family rule or those kind of thing, which they have been underlining all along. I think it gels with that. So with the sweeping victories in the three states, with the Modi in the front as the mandate that Chehra to Modi ka tha, vote de diya, and they could do it, and they could carry it. And also one thing, Barkha, which I want to say, many a times the so-called surprise picks of the BJP are surprising for us in the national media, honestly speaking.
Yeah.
Because we are unaware of those names. But when you look into their picks, they are actually very smart political picks. Look at the guy they picked up in Chhattisgarh, for example. 4-time member of parliament, 2-time MLA, and his dad was, if I'm not wrong, a Bharti Jansangh MLA in 1952. I mean, that kind of an old-timer family and a tribal face. So, may not be a very big name for people in national media, but very, very significant names as far as their own domains are concerned. So
absolutely, and also very specific targeted caste engineering in all of those choices across those three states. Like you said, in Chhattisgarh, an Adivasi leader, a tribal leader being made chief minister is making its own statement to the Congress in particular, that has always described itself to be the party of Dalits, tribals, minorities, right? And when you see Dalits and scheduled caste, scheduled tribes moving towards the BJP, as you have in the north, in Telangana, the Dalit vote went more towards the Congress. It's a very big statement. It upends politics as we've understood it all this while.
Exactly. They are playing it from the organization's politics, let me put it this way. When we were doing our, debriefing after the election with our researchers and the coordinators, and we were perplexed by Madhya Pradesh, to be honest. And we asked our researchers what happened, what went wrong for the Congress. And they said very clear, one of the researchers said very classical line, sir, कांग्रेस के ना कैंडिडेट चुनाव लड़ रहे थे, बीजेपी का ऑर्गेनाइजेशन चुनाव लड़ रहा था. You know, and I think that tells you a lot. These elections, the last round was core muscular strength of the organization as far as BJP was concerned. I think they are playing the politics from the grassroots level, and they are somehow getting it right. I know it's not a permanent thing. Nothing is permanent in politics, but something fundamental has changed, from the ideological spectrum, from the grassroots organization.
Which is why Rahul Gandhi, even, now framing this as an ideological battle, I think with all the ideological inconsistencies that you've pointed out within the India alliance, is such a in a way a dead end. But let's pick up this. I mean, we keep cutting into your time, but I'm tempted here with this slide. The biggest issue, unemployment, is the biggest issue. Ram Mandir scores quite high, which is interesting. But look at caste census. So, I had the chance to meet Mamta Banerjee in Delhi, and I asked her pointedly, caste census. She said, "Us pe main kuch nahi bolungi." And somebody else also asked her about caste census, and she said the same. And your survey, she was very clear that caste census has lapsed as an issue. It's not an issue for us. Your numbers reflect that, and 46% of those that your survey asked, do you think making caste census an issue will benefit the opposition? 46% said no. Now, I am repeatedly making the argument that Gautam Adani is the Rafale of this election, might be, if the opposition doesn't give up its obsession. Caste census, which was seen to be this big game changer idea from Nitish Kumar, seems to have totally lapsed.
It's the Mandal. If we are looking from the lens of Mandal and Kamandal, the ideological battle was what we call as the umbrella Hindutva.
Yes.
That the BJP has been playing. So it's roughly about 10% to 30%, 1:3 kind of ratio. You can see it on the screen as far as the public is looking at these two issues or numbers.
Yes.
So it's not working. Number one, it's not working the way Rahul Gandhi or others might have thought about it working. Is Rahul Gandhi wrong in picking up this issue of ideological line and these things? No, he is not wrong. For him, unfortunately, the organizational strength is absent to take on these issues and play it out.
Right.
So he is picking up the issue, thinking that he has a bandwidth on the ground which will play all along, which unfortunately he doesn't have. On the other hand, BJP is picking up an issue or umbrella Hindutva or anything that they wish to, but they are following it with the organization game plan to carry that narrative, carry out that messaging. So Rahul Gandhi is not wrong in picking up the issue. The problem is that he doesn't have that organizational strength. And in absence of that organizational strength, not only the issue that he is picking is looking wrong at this point of time, it is electorally looking unsustainable at this point of time. So issue is not the ideological divide, issue is not about the narrative, issue is the grassroots presence. And anybody like Mamta Banerjee, who knows the grassroots presence because she has the grassroots infrastructure to take on the BJP, she knows where the strength is coming from, where the narrative might hit or might make gains. That's why she is staying clear of the casting. So you need to look into different India Alliance people because all of them are playing local politics. None of them is playing the national politics, barring Rahul Gandhi. Nobody is playing a national politics within India Alliance. And this is why for them, it is a question of organization versus organization as far as regional players are concerned. As far as the BJP versus Congress is concerned, it's the organization versus whatever the ideological so-called pitch that you are picking up. And that too, placement of that issue at this point of time, at this junction, when Ayodhya temple is being inaugurated, somehow is probably being at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Finally, what should be the priority in your estimation, bases your numbers and your political understanding of the India Alliance? What should it be? How badly do they need a face to lead them?
The face is immaterial at this point of time. I now it is way beyond that. I think if at all they want to contest good, they should listen to their regional leaders. Because regional leaders want to make the contest regional. They don't want to make the contest national against Mr. Modi. So if they can contest, because 2004, look into the 2004 mandate, that happened only because it became a local contest. They did not make a national election. Right now, the more and more the Congress will try to make it a national contest, it will be problematic for them. The regional alliance partners of India Alliance, they know this thing very well. And that's why they are trying to, saying, okay, Rahul Gandhi nahi chahiye, यार बना दो, खड़गे जी को बना दो, एटलीस्ट मोदी उनके ऊपर, being a Dalit, he will not attack, BJP cannot attack Mr. Khadge, just leave it, leave your trolley in a neutral gear.
But in your survey, in your survey, Mr. Kharge was not an option when you polled who should be the face. And Rahul was the top choice because the other choices that you surveyed were Mr. Kejriwal, Mamata Banerjee, and Nitish.
Right. Because a huge number of Indians do not even know Mr. Khadge.
That's right.
The problem with Mr. Khadge, or the solution with Mr. Khadge, is that huge number don't know, can't say category. They don't know his name, they don't know about him, they don't know much about him, which looks like a liability, but in the spreadsheet of Mamata Banerjee, that's an asset. So,
all right.
that's why Mamata is looking at him as an asset. A big number of Bengalis saying ये खड़गे जी कौन है हमें जानी ना, तो वो जो है वो उनके लिए asset है. That's how she is looking at that number.
Well, fascinating. We could go on, but we leave it there. It's a lot to think about. Thank you, Yashwant. These numbers do tell a story, as all of your surveys do. And thank you for taking us through them. We hope to have you back as you have more numbers and more trackers. Thank you for talking to us, and have a great New Year. Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Bye-bye. Mojo Story has always made a commitment to its viewers to go to where the story is. And as you can see here, we are at the epicenter of the Israel war on Gaza. We are right at the front line, about 1 mile from the Gaza Strip, as the Israeli military gets ready with its tanks and its gunners to begin its final frontal assault that will take troops into Gaza. As we said, we are not like other organizations. We believe in giving you all sides of the story objectively and as much as possible from the ground. And that's exactly what we're doing here, covering the biggest global story today from the epicenter of the war zone. So please, we need your support. Support us, become a Mojo member, subscribe to us, spread the word, and thank you for your support.